Inner mind communication is a communication between our heart and our ability to feel for others and for ourselves. And this cannot happen outside of a democracy, not as easily. So, inner mind communication is a revolution. It's challenging people to take a look at what it is they're thinking and feeling and add empathy for other people, objectivity with that, creativity with that, and compassion with that. And understanding democracy, we understand that that's a way for the people to have a voice and power. And it shouldn't be bought. And if you're going to have a good love flow, you have to consider everybody, not just a handful of rich people who want to control our government. That isn't acceptable. That is not a democracy. That's an oligarchy. And it's, if they want to cut fat or waste, that fat and that waste lies in the hands of people with way more money than they could ever possibly use for themselves or their family. Billionaires. It's a sick amount of money. We allow them to have it. And then they use it to buy our government. That's what they're doing now. Have no doubts about it. It's not in the inner mind communication philosophy to allow it. We are going to stand up against it and against all of the poisons that the far right have put inside us. Poisons that direct us away from empathy, from really caring about the destitute, the elderly, veterans. This is not right. It's the liberty that we seek. It's the liberty to love and be loved and to share that attitude and that approach everywhere in the world. That means standing up for democracy everywhere. You don't act in an empathetic way, in an inner mind communication empathetic way, by not standing up against the bullies. And this is one brave young lady that we all know. They call her AOC.
To do. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Alexandria. Some of you may know me as AOC. Ooh.
Ocasio-Cortez.
And I am so happy to be back in Las Vegas. You know, my home is a ways from here, but in truth, the distance between us is a lot shorter than we think, or even that we're told. And I want to thank each and every one of you for making the effort to be here today. Thank you all so much. I know a lot of you have had to make lots of plans and carpool and figure out how you're going to get here, and it's not easy. Pardon?
And love.
Louder. Okay. Okay, thank you. People in the back, thank you for helping me. Is that good? All right, thank you. And I have to tell you, thank you, Nevada, because there's so many more people here than we even anticipated. We are at capacity today.
Please sign the petition and urge Congress to make assault rifles illegal for civilians. There's no practical application in civilized society for assault rifles. We need your help.
Absolutely.
Please tell Congress to outlaw them now. Thank you.
Call your congressman.
Hey. And how many of you, for whom how many of you here, is this your first political rally? Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you all so much for getting in the game.
I should say congressional.
And I want to thank who here is also getting in the game after not being as involved in politics, not knowing so much, who feel called and compelled. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. And I want to be the first to say, I don't care who you voted for in the past. You may have voted for Donald Trump in the past. You may have voted for Kamala Harris in the past. You may have not voted at all in the past. But I want you to know that, but you are here, regardless of all of that. You are here today. And I want to thank you for that. In fact, we're all here together because we share in the frustration and the heartache that comes from watching those in power actively tear down or refuse to fight for everyday working Americans like us. And we are here together because an extreme concentration of power and corruption is taking over this country like never before.
Amen.
But we are also here today because we know that a better world is possible. But to get there, we need to be honest about where we are. Because we are witnessing an oligarchy in America. And that is when those with the most economic, political, and technological power destroy the public good to enrich themselves while millions of Americans pay the price.
Exactly. Like I say, they're the waste. You know, they need to pay their fair share. And what is that? What is that? Well, we shouldn't have veterans on the street. Do you agree? We shouldn't have children hungry at school. We need enough teachers, and we need them to have enough pay. And we need to support our fire and our police and all of the things that that make our country great, and our veterans. So this is the voice of wisdom coming from a very young, beautiful soul, AOC. And be sure and listen to her message. And don't be fooled. You know, Trump stood in front of the three richest guys in the world and giving appointments to all the other rich, rich people. Yeah. And he's doing things so rapidly that the courts can't keep up. And his people that and they're against him. And the people that are for him are putting down our courts. They want our courts to collapse. And the Republicans now, who are really the Trump party, they're not the Republican Party. Don't be fooled. This Trump party, this MAGA Republican Party, want to lay down and just give this guy Trump a position of a king. And it's just amazing how people don't see that, he wants to put veterans on a shoestring while the Zelan with his Doge, and they were hiding that he was the head of Doge. You know, Lies and the Lying Liars Who Tell Them was a book that you should read. And so Republicans have been lying for a long time because they're the ones who are more in the pockets of the rich. But even if you see that each party, you're just going to vote for the lesser of evils, which, dear God, is still the greater of good and more of your voice. And yeah, and the Democrats have been wanting to help everybody for a long time. They've kept running to the middle, to the center, every time. I've been there with them, and it's we daren't challenge too much. We can't ask too much. Wow, I was for Bernie. I wanted to run him 2 times, and wow, the Democrats are being cowardly. They're backing away. Schumer has done some things recently. I mean, golly, waiting for the moment to stand up. Look at this brave young lady. She's standing up right now. She's standing up for you, no matter where you're at. Hell, she's standing up for the world because this poison that's coming out of Trump, well, it's alienated our allies, encouraged our enemies, and we're a laughing stock amongst some, and feared, in fact, now by our own allies. Canada's afraid of being invaded. Greenland's afraid of, that territory's being afraid of being bought, you know. And he wants to take the Panama Canal by force. He's shipping people away, that he says he claimed they were drug traffickers. They had green cards, and they weren't drug traffickers. And he's shipping them out. Is that your efficient approach to the border? Is it really? That you've got to be kidding me. He's doing cruel things. Cruelty as an attitude and as an approach. Hate and fear are not the way of real heart of America. And Trump is going to find that out. And Elon is going to find that out. And Bezos and Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and all of them, they're going to find out that they need to be happy. That we let them get away with having that kind of money in the first place. There should be competition, which they squash. They're actually legal monopolies. We're supposed to be about free trade. The Republicans say free trade. Well, there's no free trade without fair trade. Have you ever thought about starting a business? Pretty hard, isn't it? Yeah, right away your phone bill goes up and everything goes up, boom, like that. It's kind of hard to compete. And you've got these chains who move in. It's like if an independent guy wants to open up a drugstore, and they've done this. They go in and they lower their prices below what the independent guy can afford. And when he goes out of business, they buy his spot, raise the prices. I mean, are we fools? I have to ask, for so long, we've, none of us have really stood up like we should. But many have tried. And this young lady, this brave young lady, she, she's, and Bernie Sanders, these are great fighters for you, no matter what party you're in or whatever country you're in. They're heroes for you. We can't have the United States of America going rogue. Our own generals have said that Trump is a fascist to the core. Who do you trust, your generals or this convicted felon whose plants in the Supreme Court have allowed him to skip over until he could forgive himself? Yeah. So you got to be kidding. It's not. It was laughable in some ways, but it's too absolutely evil. Now it's evil. And what is evil? Well, you stand against democracy. Just intermind communication philosophy says that you need to divide powers and voices. That it's sick to follow greed, which is only symbolic of real need. It's an addiction, and it's a poisonous one. And have we forgotten that power corrupts? That absolute power corrupts absolutely? We used to know that. Our founding fathers knew that. They divided up the powers, and now we have a guy pulling a game on our division of powers, making he has the power now. He goes in and he fires generals. Last time he fired Comey, I don't know. I never saw the reason for that, except that Comey stood up to him, and he was allowed to do that. By who? And don't forget by who? The Republican Party. The Republican Party before MAGA took over completely. They took us to this place. They did. They were unwise. And then afterwards they're going, "Oh my gosh, how could this have happened?" Wow. Really? Well, let's hear what this brave, wonderful young lady has to say.
And we are at a point where the wealthiest people in the world, like Elon Musk, and all the Republicans enabling him, are turning to loot what is left of Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security to bankroll even deeper tax cuts and sweetheart contracts for themselves, their fellow billionaires, and their corporations.
The only thing more popular than me is Wild Natural deodorant. Cherry Blossom. Oh, I wish I could sniff your pits
Sorry
all
about this.
day. You totally.
And our political system right now is ill prepared for this abuse of power. In fact, our political system
really rich
enables
it,
it, starting with the role of money in politics. But I am here to remind you that we are not powerless in this moment. People are starting to put the pieces together. And ironically, the most divisive forces in our country are actually starting to bring more of us together. And that is important because the billionaire and the elite class derives their power from dividing working people apart along lines of left or right, race and gender, creed and culture. They will throw every label and judgment and cultural debate at us in the book to keep us distracted and from realizing that the only division that is truly hurting our country the most is the endless greed by those at the very, very top at the cost of everyone else. And that is why it has always been up to us, the working class of America. Our power comes from remaining focused, together, and
one thing to remember is it's Robert Reich, and be sure to go to his channel, Robert Reich's channel and Bernie Sanders' channel on YouTube. Robert Reich points out on graphs just showing how extreme this greed has hurt us. You know, the working class is on a downward slide, and in the chart, graph, you see the rich going, more and more wealthy and in fewer and fewer hands. It's not like everybody's going to be a millionaire. No. A few people are billionaires, and the millionaires, well, they'll be bossed around by the billionaires, I guess. Yes. This is just outrageous. It really is. And there's just no excuse not to follow the advice of this wonderful hero here in America.
and building a movement where there is a place for everyone. For all the big talk that Republicans and the Trump administration like to flap about working people, if you actually listen carefully, every once in a while they let the mask slip about what they actually think about us. Just last week, President Trump's lawyer, her name is Alina Habba, she went on television, and when she actually had to be faced with explaining her job, and when she actually had to be faced with doing her job, this is what she had to say. Quote, what intellectual thought? When she was asked about me, quote, what intellectual thought? You were in a bar. You were in a bar, AOC, and not to have a drink, but to serve one. And I want you all to understand, I don't care about what this woman says about me, but I could give a damn. But I want you to understand that she isn't just talking about me here. She's talking about you. She is talking about all of us. Because the entire job of the president's lawyer is to speak for him. Trump hired her to speak for him. So imagine what it means for our country that the president's own lawyer cannot even conceive of a working class person being intelligent simply because of the job that they have. This woman could not even recognize the American dream if it was fed to her on a silver spoon. But understand that this kind of disdain for working people by the most powerful people in this country doesn't just come from not being raised right. It's a shorthand for Elon Musk and Donald Trump's entire political agenda and a certain ugly kind of politics, lying to and screwing over working people so that they can steal from our health care and Social Security and veterans care to pay for tax cuts for the wealthiest and bailouts for their crypto billionaire friends.
It also, they want to, we have an existential threat uh, brewing with global warming. And they don't want to do anything about that. Elon has an answer. We'll all go to Mars. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds ridiculous. Well, it really is. You know, we have a planet that we need to save. And we can do a lot more here in terms of keeping humanity together and alive than we can shooting rockets off to Mars at this time. He's like a kid, you know. He's like, oh, I want to go. Oh, 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 I want to go to Mars. You know, it's really that's absolutely absurd. What we need to do is work on ways to divert asteroids that could make us go the way of the dinosaur and take care of global warming. They're gutting the funds for that. And, you know, in a lot of the things that they're gutting, like healthcare that we try to give to countries where um, diseases are brewing. Well, if we don't, the diseases don't know boundaries. If we don't catch it when it's somewhere else, it's going to come here. Like COVID. Look what COVID did. You know, we need to be prepared. And it's our scientists and our people working in the health industry that can do that. And taking care of other people in other countries is the kind and empathetic thing to do, but it's also the wisest thing to do. Intermind communication is about that kind of wisdom. Empathetic in objective, creative, and compassionate ways. And efficiency is really making sure that all of the wealth that you've created as workers, that we create as workers or did, I'm retired, you know, that that value needs to be shared. It doesn't need to end up all in the pockets of a few people. It's ridiculous. They're they're even making money off our personal information. You know, do they give anything back to you after taking your personal information and using it to you know, promote products? Do they? So anyway, these things need to be considered. Let's listen to this brilliant young lady again.
There's a word for this: corruption. And seeing all of this stack up, how overwhelming and brazen and selfish this all is, and the constant barrage of headlines and phone notifications pinging all day long, it's enough to make even the best of us give up. It's enough to make anyone want to give in to despair. And trust me, I get it. And that is by design. That is by design. Because when the system is stacked against you, it's hard to feel like anything you do matters. It's hard to feel like we matter in this democracy. And it is easier to give in to despair. And I can tell you, for a while there, when I was working as a waitress, years never being able to get ahead, I felt that way too. I tried.
Those who are living in the house they paid off are making a huge mistake.
You see, there's this wild real estate trick where you can
to stop caring. I tried to just keep my head down and work my shifts and accept that this is just how things are. But that is no way to live. It's no way to live. And what I do know is that the working class does not have to live like this. In fact, we cannot live like this. And Donald Trump sees the immense pressure that working people are under. But his answer is to create an America where every man is for themselves. Now that he's in power, we can see it.
Okay, let's stop there. Every man for themselves? Yes, that's dividing us up. Without empathy, in the long run, we all hurt. As I'm trying to explain inner mind communication philosophy. Empathy is what matters. It is the most efficient thing. It is the best way to meet human need, and there's no place in it for greed. And there are countries where people are well taken care of, and they're doing very well. And so there's no excuse. We're a country that's the richest country in the world without guaranteed health care, free for the people that are being worked, sometimes like mules. I've been there. You been there? Worked like a mule? Oh, yeah. And then not to receive any of the benefits, to have all the benefits go to the top. I've been in places where unions tried to be started, and they were squashed. We can't. We've got to stand up. We've got to get in the streets and protest. We've got to go to town hall meetings if we can. We need to call our representatives and tell them, hey, it's not a time to give up. It's not a time to give in to despair. It's not a time to give in to selfishness or, if you're all about yourself, where's the empathy? You can't, if you're all about yourself, you don't even have a communication in your own mind that cares for you, that's sympathetic with you. Seriously. I mean, intermind communications is about that kind of communication that that even in your own mind is necessary for you to do better, even for yourself. And that's true in a country. We need to pull together. By the way, kudos to Canada for really sticking together in opposition to this craziness. And yeah, let's listen a little more. And sorry for the ads, but that's the way it works. Yeah.
See it clear as day. He's handed the keys to Elon Musk and is selling this country for parts to the richest people on the planet for a kickback. And in exchange, they will bankroll his campaigns and those of his allies. They scratch his back, he scratches theirs, and the rest of us are left behind.
Yes, it's also things are being done that prioritize Elon Musk's getting what they call corporate welfare over other competitors. Yeah, not enough competition, right? Definitely not. Where's your competition against Windows, Mac, Apple? Where is it? No, I suggest you use Linux. But yeah, there needs to be more competition. And there are, believe me, a lot of backroom deals that are going on here. It's you say, oh, that's always been in government. Yeah, not like this. This is outrageous. And the good thing about this is it's waking people up to making sure that we actually do something to stop it and make this a more democratic country that we can truly be proud of.
And the clever thing is that the clever thing that these guys sell is making people like you and me think that we're just one step away from being in that club too. Grindset mindset, right? Except their spoils are not earned. They are not working for these billions. They are stealing these billions.
Thank you.
Just look at what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing to our health care, our veterans benefits, and Social Security. In order to pay for even more tax cuts for billionaires, they are slashing the programs that we have spent a lifetime paying into. And mind you, even if you aren't on Medicaid or Medicare, it raises your private insurance costs too. So every single House Republican voted to cut Medicaid. And now they're all scared. They're saying, we didn't say that. We didn't do that. Also, let me tell you something. If I ask you, let me see. Do we have a kid around here? Okay, can I ask your son a question? Very simple question. What is 10 minus 4? I didn't say 6. I didn't say 6. That's what Republicans are doing with this budget.
My phone, my wallet,
Here we go again.
passport, and tablet.
And what's your name?
Somebody's
Bryce?
making money.
Bryce's life
Again,
depends
it's
on
not
Medicaid.
you.
And all of us are here for Bryce, aren't we? That's what this is all about. That's what we're here for. We're here for Bryce. We're here for Bryce's mom. We're here for you. We're here for me. Because at some point, every one of us is going to need help. Every one of us. There's
Absolutely. You get old, you'll find out. There's no golden years. It gets really tough. You're getting older, and it gets tough on the people who have to take care of the elderly. And these people need to be paid. You don't see great physicists from whom all of our advances have been made. Wow, all the scientists. Yeah. You don't see them being wealthy beyond measure, do you? No, only people who are taking money that really shouldn't be there and owning more and more. Very few people, fewer and fewer people can afford a home now. And it's just getting worse. So I'll let her talk a little bit more, and then we're going to wrap this up.
There's not some other people or every one of us. And that's what community is about. And in order to pay for even more of those tax cuts for billionaires, they're slashing programs like the Medicaid that Bryce relies on. And every single Republican voted for it. You see, these budgets aren't just fights about numbers. They are fights over our values that define us as a country. Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security were promises that we as a people have made to each other about what kind of country we are and who we are. It's not handed down from a politician or a billionaire. This is about the promises we make to each other. From neighbor to neighbor, from father to daughter, from friend to friend. You see, these budgets Again, they aren't fights about numbers. And these promises don't come from politicians, they come from us. From us. And they are promises that we make to each other. So to me, the strength of our country is not just measured by the height of our best days. It's also about who's there for us on our worst day. And that is why I'm here with you today, Las Vegas. So let me share with you exactly what I mean. Because when they like to call us radical, and what they like to call me as radical, I believe is common sense. I believe that when a person gets sick, they shouldn't go bankrupt in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. Common sense. I believe that a minimum wage should cover the minimum cost to live. Common sense. And by the way, we should see that not paying a living wage is also a form of corporate welfare and looting. Because big companies like Walmart and Amazon often rely on the food stamp program and public coffers to cover the wages that they won't pay.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. So who's robbing your taxes, that you pay? Who's robbing? It's not the people who need the services. Yeah, it's these big companies that, again, they don't want government to help you. They're not going to help you themselves. They're not going to pay you enough. They're not going to ensure that you have health care. No. This is exploitation to the max. So, let the vision of this heroic young lady settle in your mind. Consider what it takes for her to stand up and to keep bringing light into the darkness of greed. Stand up with her. Be involved. Please subscribe to this channel and support real empathy in the world. And there's a lot of ways of doing that, and this channel is all about empathy and its importance in every sphere of life. And it's even important in therapies. But it's definitely important in politics. And it supports democracy. So if you agree with this, if you understand what I'm saying, if you understand the way of love, you'll support leaders like AOC. You'll go down and make that vote, even if you think it's the lesser of evil. Remember, it's the greater good. And the Democrats, they're speaking for you. They're wanting things for you. I mean, it's polar opposite, right? It's like the greed and the giving to the rich that the Republicans have been doing for a long time, and a little bit the Democrats. It's gotten even worse. It's just outrageous now. There's no way that you should be voting Republican at this time. No way. That's not even the Republican Party now. It's the MAGA Party. And it's for oligarchy. It's for theft of what's rightfully yours. Your taxes going to corporate welfare. Working people, but not taking care of them. Would you do that with, let's say you have a pet horse? Would you work the horse and not take care of it? Ride him around and not feed the horse and give it a happy life? If you can treat your horse right, your dog right, consider treating your neighbors right, and everybody in the country right. And stop and think about corporate welfare. Working people without, where's the love flow? Without taking care of the needs of the worker. It's wrong. It's every way to Sunday and back wrong. So until next time, remember, you're not just in a world of wonder. You're part of it. And let empathy be your guide. That's inner mind communication in a nutshell. So, and as I like to do, sing you my blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, or her hand, or its hand, however you see it. And yeah, you're working those fields and working that job. Make sure that you're voting for the people that use your taxes wisely and in helping ways. Make sure that you vote for people who tax wealthy enough. Make sure the kids don't go riches or anywhere in the world. So, thank you to all viewers from Canada and the United States, England, Australia, I believe. Thank you for viewing, and please subscribe. We're still in process trying to create Zoom calls that will work to bring in more voices supporting democracy and the philosophy of empathy, which is philosophy of inner mind communication. How you talk to yourself in your head, that's important. You need empathy there for yourself, but you also need to expand that. Make sure that your inner mind communication of love is enriched by the love in your life and expresses its love for you to everyone. Anyway, until next time.